Welcome to Chats from the Outside. This is episode 3, Claudia.
Yes, we're official.
How exciting. And what I love about this is we can say things here that we cannot say on our radio show.
That's right.
And this, actually, we do say a lot of stuff on the radio show, which I'm surprised we're still on. I have to be honest.
We're just saying the truth. We're not making up anything.
Not at all. And let's start. This is what you sent me this morning, and I think it's perfect. By Frederick Douglass. Liberty is meaningless where the right to utter one's thoughts and opinions has ceased to exist. And it really feels like that right now. It's
It does.
crazy.
It does. If you if you have any thought that does not comply with what the mainstream media and the system state as true and correct, you are satanized. And it's just crazy. It's crazy to be in a world where everybody has an opinion, but if it's not the opinion that matches the status quo, then you are deemed,
Hmm.
conspiracy theorist, uh, extremist, activists, not good. And
Well,
that's not right.
well, here's an interesting thing I thought we would read, because talking about having a different opinion, all right, I'm gonna say it. Bribing people to get a shot is weird. Offering to let inmates out of prison, jail early if they get shot is weird. Giving someone a hamburger, donut, or a rolled joint for getting a shot is weird. Being entered into $1 million lottery if you get a shot is weird. Getting work bonuses if you get a shot is weird. It's more weird that the mainstream media is saying if you get the shot, you get your freedoms back. Yeah, we've seen how that has worked out, haven't we? It's weird. Why is nobody saying it's weird? It's weird. I said it. Side note, saying you're not comfortable getting a shot that isn't FDA approved and hasn't gone through the specific testing for approval doesn't make you an anti vaxxer. It doesn't mean you don't care about other people. It shows you are using critical thought and you care about your own health. Calling someone an anti vaxxer or selfish for not wanting the shot makes you look weird. Stop it. Get it if you want, don't if you're not comfortable. Ask your doctor if you have questions or research. Relying on celebrities for guidance is absurd. Believing the government has your best interest is lunacy. I never thought a shot could be made political and create division, but here we are. I shared that because I think that's such a it's like it's if people really understood that this shot is not FDA approved. It's under emergency authorization, which makes it an experimental bioagent. How many people do you think would take this shot if they heard the true name of what it is?
Well, normally it would be people who are broke and want to get paid to participate in clinical trials.
Yeah.
That's been the norm. People that are really, really sick and that are of course, this is a vaccine, so it wouldn't be sick. But normally, people who participate in these clinical trials are people that are in dire situations.
And
It certainly would not be humanity, you
and
know?
and, and just to take away, I mean, we're not to get into the medical argument about why it's good or not. I mean, you and I, we can bring someone on to do that, but the fact that just dissenting opinion or pointing out the facts or saying that hey I don't want to get this my one of the people I work for I'm a contractor and I work for several people they're requiring me to get a vaccine to go to work and it's like whoa what that is so illegal it's unbelievable and this is a company out of the United States and I think to myself how how have we come to this that people think it's okay to talk about your health history or what should be between you and your doctor? That's it's not okay. It's just not okay, and it's very interesting what's happening. And I hope there's enough pushback, Claudia, that this isn't going to start happening everywhere. We've heard it on the radio here, people
Yes.
advocating this stuff.
And even implying that it should be made mandatory in order to be able to keep your job. And this is something that people need to know. It is a human right. It is a basic human right to decide what happens to your body and whether or not you want to put something in your body. So at this moment, getting your vaccine is not mandatory, and you can still say no, thank you.
Hmm.
So, and it's just a matter of freedom and human rights. It's not about what you think, what you don't believe. I'm not saying don't get a shot. If you think this is the right thing for you, for your health, for your family, go ahead. But if you
Absolutely.
don't agree, don't be bullied into getting it without being fully convinced, because it's an important decision. There are, because like we said in the beginning, and we talked about this before, the vaccines, there are many different vaccines based on different science, and the results are still being tested and collated and studied. So we don't know what's going to end up being the result of this trial, because at the end of the day, it is a trial.
It is a trial, and anybody with a dissenting opinion that comes on the air, and who knows what happens to our podcast. I don't think we have a big enough audience yet, but 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 anybody that's saying, and there's a lot of scientists, a lot of very important scientists and doctors telling people this is not safe yet. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know, and to not look at that critically and then make a decision for yourself. Again, as you're saying, Claudia, I'm all about freedom. If people want to do it, they should be able to do it. And the other question I have is, if you get the vaccine, why are you worried about what I do? If it works, why do you care what I do or anybody else does? And the other thing that has lost all, it's just, I can't believe that no one can even say this. Rand Paul, a senator from the United States, talks about it all the time, is natural immunity. If you've had the virus, why would you get a vaccine? It's the best vaccine in the world is to actually have the virus. And somehow this narrative came out that, well, we're not sure how long it lasts. Well, the only reason they're not sure how long it lasts is we haven't gone on for that long since the virus started. That's the only way they can say that. As with any other virus in history, your antibodies, they may go away, but your T cells don't. Your body is immune after you've had this. And I mean, and the other interesting thing, Claudia, how many people have had this and then they go and get the vaccine? No one knows what the health effects of that are. If you had the measles, you would never go get a measles vaccine after that. Who knows what that would do to you? It's like, so why would you go get a vaccine for COVID after you've had COVID? It's so insane to me.
We live
What
in an era where there is so much information that sometimes that abundance of information comes in detriment of people's decisions. I know of somebody who didn't have enough information about one type of vaccine versus another, but at the end of the day, what was available, and then regretted their decision. So it's important to be informed and to look
because
at.
you can't go to Europe if you have certain ones, right?
Exactly, exactly.
So it's like, and
And a
then
lot of people are getting their vaccines because, I mean, I used to travel to Africa all the time, and you had to get yellow fever
yeah,
vaccine. And it
yeah.
was something that if you were going to Africa, well, I think it's still the case. If you're going to Africa, that's what you get. And I did, and and a lot of people are getting their vaccine now because they want to be able to travel. And
Hmm.
then they found out, oh, that's not. And now it's like, okay, so I got this vaccine, it doesn't work for what I want to do. Do I go and get the other vaccine? And there's not enough information about that yet. So please don't. I mean, if I have to say anything, if I can say anything, is don't make decisions without having all the information, because this is about your health and
Hmm.
about your well-being. And
Me-
we had a
me-
great show with Isabel Vignon on the radio talking about strengthening your own immune system naturally. And I think that's something that everybody should be doing right now.
it's it it's truly amazing to see what's happening, and we can strengthen our own health, our own immunity, and to just see that that's not part of the narrative. That's also a little bit, it's disconcerting that you can't, even when you start to say these things, it's like you're a conspiracy theorist. Why? Because I believe in my immune system.
Which
What?
exists, is there.
So anyway, it's very interesting. And the other thing that's starting to happen, I don't know if you've seen, actually, it just came in the news chat from the radio station that we're on, which I won't mention. They say Pfizer suggests booster shots will be needed this year. Booster shots, here we go. It's like it's when is this going to end?
At the
It's
end of the
not.
day, if you've been involved with big pharma in any way, as a patient, as a medical professional, as a health professional, um, big pharma wants to make you their user, their constant user, and that's a fact. You
Mm-hmm.
know, traditional, not traditional, but allopathic medicine treats symptoms, because if you heal, if you get rid of the condition, then you'll stop buying medicine, and they want you to continue to buy medicine. I have a personal experience where a growth hormone deficiency was diagnosed at a very early age. Um, and the result, within 48 hours, I had a medical lab rep knocking at my door, and I did not live in a big city, offering me, okay, so this is what it's going to cost for the rest of your life to do this. And it was like, okay, so we just treat the symptom for the rest of our lives instead of looking for an option to actually heal the problem. And the way that it was healed, because it was healed, was through boosting the natural immune system. So
It's and that's exactly you're exactly right. It's like the old adage, depression is not because of a lack of a serotonin uptake inhibitor. That's not why you have depression, but that's what they give you.
yeah,
That's not the cause.
yeah.
And so you're exactly right, Claudia, and I'm so happy that you found that solution that
Yeah.
that worked out because and it probably saved his life and in a way that has made him who he is today because I know who you're talking about and a great guy. The other thing that's interesting is as we go through this, I just we've talked about this on the radio a little bit, but when I came back from Arizona and the shock of going from a place where there's no masks to masks and craziness and people, oh my gosh, the Delta variant, now it's the Lambda variant, and it goes back to the book that we mentioned last week in our show about fear. Is A State of Fear is the book, and I have it and I don't remember the author, but I really recommend it. It's about how the British government weaponized fear, and when you read that book, and a lot of my friends have read it now, it's so obvious what's happening here.
Yeah.
Fear is being weaponized. There are behavioral scientists that their only job is they know exactly how the human population is going to work if they push certain buttons. And they're pushing the buttons through the media. They're pushing the buttons through narratives that are coming out. When in history has there been this much fear in the media? There's always been a president would come out, a leader would come out and say, hey, we're going to get through this. When President Trump did that, he got attacked for actually saying, hey, we're going to get through this. This isn't the worst thing that's ever going to happen. We're going to get through it as a country. And he got attacked. It's like people want the fear. And we have.
Company. And I mean, I love history, as you know. And the reason I love history is because if we do learn from history and if we remember history, we will not make the same mistakes. Look at what was happening in the world before the beginning of World War II. And it was fear propaganda.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just feeding on the hatred and animosity towards a specific group of people. And a lot of what we're seeing nowadays, it's exactly that. Is if you don't think this way, then you're the enemy.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
that is not a healthy road to walk on.
It's not gonna. It's not gonna end well. It's not gonna end well, as history has shown us time and time again. It's just not gonna end well, and it's so interesting too. If you look in the United States, it's really the left side of the aisle that is totally about. I mean, look at the states; they're locked down, and I know they're coming out of it, but they have all the regulations. California, New York, all the usual suspects that are left leaning states. I mean, now we have a president that's on the left, far radical left from where he used to be. I mean, just radical. But these are the same people that say your body, your choice when they talk about abortion. But now talking about a vaccine, it's like, no, 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 you have to get this. And it's the hypocrisy of that is beyond the fold. And it's also the same people. Fauci came out with a video the other day, which I think it's crime against humanity what he's doing when he's advocating that as young as 12-year-olds get a vaccine, when kids don't even get this. If they get it, nothing happens to them. It's are there case one in a million? Yes, probably. Just like there is with the flu, just like there is with anything else. But this is just, it's criminal what is happening. And I think history, Claudia, when they rewrite about this, I think there's people going to be charged with crimes. And the people that stopped, what is it, ivermectin? What am I saying that right?
Ivermectin, yeah.
Yeah, the drug that in India has been shown to work. And that's the other thing too. If there is a drug that works, they would have never been able to get the emergency authorization for the vaccines. And you saw the media attack hydrochloroquine and ivermectin as drugs that were terrible for you. These drugs have been around for years, decades, and are incredible drugs. They're not dangerous drugs. And to say that, it's just, if people can't see what's going on, that's sometimes, and I have to stop myself from getting frustrated, because you just want to shake people and go, look what is happening. It's about money. It's about control. Who would have believed that Australia, one of the most free people in the world, would be locked down because 912 people have died over the last year and a half from COVID, and they're all locked down. What?
I think that kind of like going on a different tangent, we are living in a time where we do get to grow internally, because we have to work really, really hard at not reacting. A lot of what we're seeing and a lot of the events that we're witnessing on a daily basis prompt us to react. And I think that we do need to stop reacting. And at the end of the day, maybe it's perceived as being selfish, but make your own choice and let the others make their own. And at some point, it's like, I can't preach and make you see my point of view. I can only try to take care of myself and take care of those around me that I care about, and hope for the best, and hope for the best for you, because it prompts you to become so frustrated that all of a sudden you just want to block everybody and stop talking to people. And I speak from experience, because I've seen it, and you get to the point where, like, oh my God, I cannot even see this person anymore, because what they're saying is so different and so distant to what my perspective and my set of beliefs are, that you start to distance yourself from people that perhaps you do appreciate for other things. So I don't know. It's difficult at this time to decide when to stop. When do you express your opinion, because you do have that freedom, and when do you decide to, you know what, ignorance is bliss, and let's just be happy with what we have.
No, and I agree with you about. I think the key is at this moment, it's the best thing we can do is work on ourselves and internally, and become more and more awake. Keep doing that. We're not going to change other people's opinions. Now, we may say, people may wake up a little bit if you say something, and it may spark something. But the truth is that we have to work on ourselves, and that's all. And I think the difference is, Claudia, is everyone should test themselves. Is your opinion that you have making other people do something they don't want to do? That is taking away someone's freedom. And that, to me, is where the issue is that if you want to get the vaccine, if you want to wear a mask in your car alone, if you want to, go for it. If you want to stay home because you're afraid of a virus, do it. If you don't, guess what? Do it. And that's the problem, is there's been this narrative of like one side making you feel guilty. You're going to kill grandma if you don't wear a mask, if you don't get your vaccine. It, first of all, it doesn't make sense because it's not true. And it's not something that it makes people feel guilty. It goes to our basic instinct of wanting to be good people. And that's part of the nefarious nature of what is going on right now, is they're using our good nature against us to control. And who would have believed a year and a half ago that everybody would be walking around in a mask, or that people would be getting an experimental shot in their arm and they'd be running to do it? It's like, wow. But again, if you want to do that, no one's stopping you. But don't try to stop other people and to stop them from talking. And they're getting banned on Facebook. Everyone should ask themselves, why are opinions being banned? That should scare everybody.
Exactly.
That's what happened. That's what happened in the late 30s before World War II. Opinions got banned. And wow, why? And I'm not talking about just opinions of someone like you or I, who we have our opinions, but there's doctors and scientists. The inventor of the mRNA vaccine has been written off of being the inventor.
Yeah.
Because he is against this shot.
It's very dystopic. It's very 1984, and it's actually I don't know, unsettling.
It's unsettling, and in my belief system is that our souls chose to be here at this time and to deal with this. This is something to be learned from, and we can be leaders through this. All of us, we can breathe deep. We can work on our own selves. Wake up to see that this is, and Aldous Huxley and George Orwell and many others knew, Ayn Rand, they knew what human beings would do. And guess what? Because they saw it in the past and it's happening now. It's the same pattern over and over again. That I think the difference this time is technology has caught up to make it easier.
The information is so, like I said, so greatly available. And people don't check sources. People don't, they just, if it resonates with them, they share. And a lot of times that effort of sharing does more harm than good. So share carefully. I don't know.
Well, Claudia, I appreciate. I think this is a good place to end our third episode. It was really great again, and I hope you all are enjoying this a lot of truth and about who we are. I think this is exactly who we are, and it's nice to show that and be able to say that. And we welcome other opinions. Again, we're not against anybody that wants to get these. We're just talking about things that are publicly available. This information is publicly available
and open to dialogue.
Absolutely.
Like if you have a different opinion, talk to us. I want to hear it. I want to hear it, and I want to see where you're coming from.
Absolutely. Claudia, thank you again, everybody. We will catch you next time.
Bye.